Welcome. We're back. Another day in the market. How's everybody doing? Early stream today, so I don't know how many people are going to show up, but still doing the same thing I do every day. Most likely I'll be live again tomorrow night, unless I get home too late. But yeah, what's going on, everybody? We got KTF, Mr. Robinson, D, the guy, Neutron, Braden, Charles, Maxime, and JG in the chat right now. Starting off with Bitcoin, which hit all-time highs today. Since the alert at 43K, Bitcoin is up 51%. It's probably been about almost a month, probably close to a month. And it's pretty much gone straight up until today. And it broke over all-time highs. Let's see if we could find when it did. Pretty much in the morning, right around the market open. 64,575. Yeah, so pretty much right around the market open for stocks, Bitcoin broke to new all-time high, and it had its highest candle close ever on the daily. On Sunday, it already had its highest weekly candle close. We'll see in 4 days if it can create a new high on the weekly. Yeah, there is no real resistance left on the Bitcoin chart. I mean, apart from the high you just put in today. Apart from that, around 67K, there's no real high left or resistance left. So, at this point, you are overbought on the daily. However, it has been more overbought on the daily before. At the end of last year, it went all the way up to pretty much 90 on the daily RSI at one point. The weekly RSI on Bitcoin is not even overbought yet. That's really interesting because on the 2017 December peak, the weekly came up to 91. In the June of 2019 peak, I think Bitcoin went to like 14K or something then during the summer. Bitcoin came up to 79 on the weekly RSI, and then on the peak from January of this year, went up to 94 on the weekly RSI. It's not even overbought yet. So on the weekly, historically, when we're talking about the highs of like all-time high rallies, and of course, Bitcoin's been making all-time highs for like a decade at this point, probably. But I'm talking about like the major ones that everybody was talking about. Pretty much, I think 2017 was the first like huge global explosion for Bitcoin. I don't even know if it's the right word to use, but yeah, you've gotten much higher on the weekly. So the weekly still has more room to go. You're kind of seeing follow through on the weekly of a 3 white soldiers candle pattern. And yeah, that's Bitcoin right now. The UMA crypto trade hit the first target. It got 2% away from the second target, but kind of topped out the 200-day moving average. Already hit the first target for 38% gain. And the Dogecoin trade is currently up about 9% since the entry is just kind of testing this neckline. You could draw this neckline differently. I just looked for a few candle highs to connect, but it's just kind of testing it based on how I drew it. Again, it's really up and down and up and down. The wicks are kind of crazy. So yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't really talk about the resistances for Bitcoin. So just simply, we're gonna go over to the weekly and we're gonna use fibs. All right, this simple. We're gonna go from our previous swing high, which was right up over here, to our swing low down here. Okay. So we're gonna do from the high to the low over here. I'm gonna extend it out. All right. So these are your Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin. Your 1272 is about 75K. That's also psychological resistance. 3/4 of the way to 100K. And then your 1618 is around 87.6K on Bitcoin. Your 2618, I'll be genuinely surprised if we even get there this year, but your 2618 is about 124K on Bitcoin. So I don't know if there's anything else we can kind of find. Let's see, let's just have some fun for a second here. All right, so if you take a look at the 2017 high down to the 2018 low, look at this, all right? Bitcoin not perfectly, but pretty much went up to the 3618 Fibonacci extension before losing half of its value. So the last time Bitcoin made a major, it went from one super bullish cycle to the next, it did a 3618. Okay, a 3618 of this. Oh my gosh, I mean that would be $160,000 on Bitcoin. Again, this is just random fib levels. I usually don't use that to trade, but I'm just trying to have some fun here. In log scale, same thing for the 3618. I don't know if there's a difference for fibs there. Log scale does look a little bit clearer if you kind of look at it like this, though. Not exactly sure what the best way to find a measured move on this would be. I'm just going to go from here to here. Well, that's in log scale, so I don't know. I'm just messing around here. I really don't. I'm just drawing lines on the chart, so I'm gonna stop doing that. I kind of just like spaced out there for a second. All right, so I think I'm out of log scale now. Futures for stocks are red. Let's talk about the market, okay? Let's see. I'm actually, you guys are talking about log scale in the chat. I really have never used log scale. There's only one thing I use log scale for. I think I deleted it. But yeah, I'm not actually too educated on how fibs work with log scale. So I just really haven't used them like that. I don't know if I still have this chart. Let me see if I could find it. I'm just gonna have to like open up all my different Bitcoin charts. I don't think I have it though. I just have a really cool chart. No, I think I deleted it. I mean, I could try to replicate it for Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about stocks. Let me just use all the exchanges here, just in case I still have it. No, okay, so let's go to log scale. Let's go over to the monthly. It looked way different before though. I don't know if I can still draw it. I can't remember how I charted the top of it though. In general, what I used to have charted on Bitcoin on log scale was this demand line, which has held since 2000. I mean, I don't know what different exchanges show, but on Bitrex exchange, it starts in 2015. Look at that demand line on the monthly on log scale. I mean, look how many times it's tested it all the way over here, however many candles, over here, and now you're kind of, even the heart line of this was respected, but again, I'm just using one high over there. I don't know. But I used to have a really cool chart. It was a lot more detailed than that. But I think I deleted it when I was clearing out my trading view charts. All right, but let's talk about stocks now. Futures are red, not too bad, down 0.15% for the S&P. We have 8 days left in the month. Can't really get a bullish engulfing candle because you opened a little bit higher than last month, but if you did close above last month's open, it'd be pretty close to one. We can go down to the daily time frame and zoom out. Inverse head and shoulders playing out perfectly. Based on how I have it charted, and again, this is a futures chart, not the spot price, but on futures, the measured move pretty much just above the previous all-time high. However, something like this wouldn't surprise me. I didn't mean to do that. You know, something like that wouldn't surprise me, and I'm gonna go a bit more in detail there, but in general, we did a really, really good job of calling all the different moves in the market in this whole entire range, like day by day. Then we had 2-3 good days, and I started getting bearish pretty much like over here and for the past few days. I have been bearish, and I'm still bearish short term, and I've just been wrong for the past few days, so I'm gonna explain that a little bit further. But futures are red. We'll see, maybe tomorrow we actually get the pullback I've been waiting for, or not. What's up, Spiderwebs? Maxime says bought some SPY puts end of day. I did too. But yeah, I mean, I've taken 2 different losses. I played QQQ puts, and I took losses twice on those already this week. I haven't held them the whole entire way up. It's just, you know, when I get stopped out of my puts, I get stopped out, then I wait for a signal, then I get new puts. But definitely paying some fees for that process. All right, so let's talk about the market. Hit that like button if you didn't already. On the S&P 500, on the daily, you're, I think, like 1/3% away from all-time highs. Yeah, pretty much 0.22% from all-time highs. So a day just as green as today would put the market at an all-time high tomorrow. We'll see. But it's been an insane rally. In 1 week, the market has rallied 5%. I mean, that's just incredible. Let's go back to the week of July 19th. So the last time we had a pretty explosive rally was the end of July for the S&P 500. Where in a week we went up about 5%. What happened after that was we went sideways for about the next week. I'm just giving you some statistics on the last time we had a run like this. But yeah, we've gapped up like pretty much every single day since the 13th, apart from this day. I think it gapped down a little bit, but then it closed way higher. So on the daily, I mean, your last resistance is the previous all-time high at 45.45 on the S&P 500. Break above that, then you can use fibs, just like we were talking about for Bitcoin. However, even if we do, again, break to a new all-time high tomorrow or on Friday, you're just getting so overbought on low time frames. It's amazing me. I mean, on the QQQ, if you go over to the 1 hour chart, it pulled back today, so you got a reset, but the S&P was still green today, okay? And again, the RSI did pull back a little bit, but it got all the way up, I think, to 80 something, to 87. Last time was the beginning of July that the RSI even got that close. And this is a 1 hour chart. We did see a 3-4% pullback. So right now, 4 hours kind of the same thing as the daily. 1 hour chart, you're kind of getting to that area where you're starting to pass the 886. But a shark can go down to 1.13. So let me just see one more thing. So you're pretty much at a 1414 from this point. Okay, so I don't know. You just kind of, you're seeing variables. You have triple classic bearish divergence confirmed, and that really hasn't done much. This is not like a real rising wedge. I just kind of charted it. You have a supply line here. I don't know, maybe you call it a rising wedge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you call it a rising wedge. I don't really think it matters. I'm just using this as like a visual, but kind of broke a little bit of a demand line. If you just chart the demand line of how we've been rallying, it broke that today, and then once it broke it, you can kind of see right when it broke that demand line, you had like a little bit of a pullback intraday, like 1/3%, and then you just started going sideways. So you had a breakdown off of a very simple demand line, and instead of like kind of retracing during the day, you just started going sideways. Again, you can still retrace tomorrow, but yeah, I mean, the variables are still the same, and I've been saying this like all week at this point, so I kind of do feel like a broken record. But that's how it is sometimes. You have technicals, and sometimes they play out, sometimes they don't play out, sometimes they take longer than you expect for them to play out. That's why technical analysis means nothing without risk management, right? So still have the same exact opinion as last few nights on the stream. Still think we're overbought on low time frames. I mean, we just rallied for 6-7 days in a row like it was nothing. Gravity is real. If I continue to get amazed, I continue to get amazed. I don't like being a bear, but it's just like, this is what the 1 hour chart is, right? So it's like, I don't know what the bullish argument is, other than obviously the short term. I mean, the short term and the trend is obviously overwhelmingly bullish. So yeah, that's the market right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps to fill that you created all within the last week or so, or week and a half. QQQ kind of looks the same. I like how it broke above this 374 level today. I mean, it broke above it yesterday, but then it kind of back tested and closed back above it today. I mean, it's still, you know, the S&P is only 0.2% away from all-time highs. QQQ is about 2% away from all-time highs. However, the Russell 2000 is probably my favorite looking index right now, or ETF of an index, but it's kind of like breaking out. It really hasn't seen the type of run, or it didn't really see the type of drop that the S&P saw in September, but it also hasn't seen the type of run that the S&P has seen in the last week. It's just, for the most part, it's kind of just done its own thing, just going sideways. But now it's starting to kind of retest this breakout area. I mean, even if you kind of rechart it to here, like you're still just testing it. So the last time it did test the supply line, there was a pullback off of it. Now you're testing it again. I don't know. I think there's a decent probability it can break up here unless the market just as a whole starts selling off of this level, which again, the S&P could pull back at these levels. But I wouldn't be surprised if the IWM made a rally to all-time highs by the end of the year, by any means. I mean, that's only 3% higher, and the S&P is almost tapping all-time highs right now, so we'll see. And then the NASDAQ, let me, I don't know, I'll probably delete some of these lines, whatever. Okay. Let's see. You have a bearish cipher on the NASDAQ. So on the S&P 4-hour, you have a bearish shark. And then on the NASDAQ 4-hour, you have a bearish cipher. And look what happened at the PCC on the 4-hour. You got a reaction there. 0.25% pullback off of that level, which also lines up with the resistance 15.1K. Kind of a little bit of a resistance from the first half of September. It was even a candle open on August 30th. So I don't know. I'm seeing these are real bearish patterns, and I'm sure the 1-hour looks similar. Yeah, you have classic bearish divergence on the 1-hour. So you did see tech kind of follow the low time frame technicals a little bit today, with the NASDAQ and QQQ closing sort of red. But the Russell and S&P were green. And then finally, the Dow Jones. Let me delete all of this. Let me just delete everything there. Let's see. Did it make a new all-time high today? Yeah, so I didn't even know it. The Dow Jones made a new all-time high today. I don't really see any bearish harmonics off of this, though. I mean, maybe the only potential I could see is a bearish alternate bat. We'll see if that's, nope, you got too deep of a B point, so that's not even possible. So, yeah, that's your Dow Jones kind of breaking out of this range, which is interesting. And what else we got to talk about? The dollar pulling back testing the breakout of this cup and handle neckline. We'll see if it can bounce off of that. But again, this is another variable that's kind of, I wouldn't say bearish for the market, but just something to keep an eye on. What else should we keep an eye on for the market? The US 10-year is breaking above this 1.64 level, which was a low from 2015. What else should we look at? The VIX is pretty much retraced all the way down to 1550. Last time it was here was the beginning of August. It was August 13th. And that was pretty much around this peak right here on the S&P 500. The last time that the VIX was at this level. So I don't know. I mean, all the indicators I look at for pullbacks are kind of aligning right now, but there's just some force pushing the market higher and higher every single day. And again, I'm only talking about the past few days. We all know I was bullish last Monday. Let me confirm that. What day was? So 13, 11. So yeah, I mean, in this area, we all know I was bullish, and I was still bullish over here. I saw on Thursday and Friday, I thought the market would keep going higher, but then coming into this week, I turned to bearish, and you've just been going higher and higher. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the market right now. Futures, a little bit red. We'll see what happens in the morning. We could talk about some other stuff now. Hit that like button if you didn't already. We're getting some new people joining into the stream. If anybody missed the stream so far, summary, Bitcoin's around all-time highs. Next Fibonacci extension is around 75K for Bitcoin. And apart from that, the SPY has a bearish shark. The D point is kind of a little bit deep there, but it could go deeper. And then the NASDAQ has a bearish cipher, which had a reaction at a resistance at the PCC. So I don't know. That's so far the summary. We can talk about CLOV next. 4-hour bearish engulfing candle for CLOV. I don't know why my chart's not loading. Let's try this again. 1 second. There we go. All right, so you had a 4-hour bearish engulfing, kind of like the opposite. I mean, you had this bullish pin bar, and then you kind of had the opposite candle on the first 4-hour candle today. Where'd you go to? What resistance have we been talking about for the last week on CLOV? This 812 to 820 zone. You tested it. It failed to break it, and it pulled back. I honestly, when it was testing it today, I actually thought CLOV was going to break it. I'm not going to lie, because the context before that was it had a bullish pin bar before the move up to the neckline, and on the 1 hour or the 30 minute, it kind of, I think 30 minutes is the easier way to view it. Like the context before this test of the neckline was you double bottomed, you even broke out of a supply line and back tested it. Like, look at that. You know, it had really good variables going into that test of the neckline, but it just couldn't break the neckline. So I actually did think it was going to break it. It just wasn't able to. And where did it go? It went from the resistance back down to the support. So it went from the top of the range to the bottom. Like, it's just range bound for right now. I was really hoping it could break above, but just never got confirmation today. So it's still just a waiting game. You're still just in a zone between 770 and 820. You're getting bullish candles, bearish candles. Your 4-hour MACD did cross over to red. Your daily MACD is losing momentum, but there's no bearish divergence. Just going sideways for now. Don't want to overcomplicate it. We'll see. I just need more data for things to talk about. There just really isn't much from a technical standpoint to be talking about on CLOV right now. Yeah. Breaks under 770, could probably retest 750. Breaks 750, could retest 711. If it doesn't do any of that, if it breaks above 820, I think it's headed to 9 easily. And that's really that for CLOV. I mean, I'd love to talk about CLOV more on the stream. I'm still in CLOV. I definitely have decreased my position. I took profits in this area, but you know, if we get something like this, like, how do we look at it? If we get something like this, like maybe I get back into the same position I had before, you know? And I've talked about this on stream, but I'm trading in and out, right? And I've said this for months on CLOV. But like 90% of the time I am holding some sort of position. Right now I still am in CLOV. But my position was much larger in this area. I took some profits. And right now I'm reassessing to look for a nice re-entry area. But that's really it for CLOV right now. And yeah, but again, that's not me telling you to sell or anything. I did this like last Friday, maybe even the Friday before. But again, like literally my alert pops off that it's breaking the neckline and I'll be in within a minute and a half. Like, you know, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm just waiting for more variables. That's just how I trade. For the people who are long-term investors, you know, best of luck to you. For people who are day trading it, best of luck to you. I don't care what you do with your money. I'm just kind of explaining how I've been doing with it. So that's CLOV. FSR. I don't know. FSR was disappointing to me today. It confirmed. I don't know if that's. Let me see. Close 1465. Pretty much a bearish engulfing candle on the daily for FSR. Like, things change so quickly. I don't get it. I really did not understand FSR's price action today. It was looking so primed, like it broke out and then just flopped back down. The only one thing we did talk about last night on stream that I guess in hindsight did play out was the 1 hour bearish divergence. So that was the technical that kind of did play out today. We talked about this last night on stream. Kind of shot it back down to this demand line, putting a bullish hammer candle there. I think that's also a Bollinger Band. So right now on the 1 hour, I mean, putting a almost pretty much a bullish hammer, just a little bit of a large body at the lower Bollinger Band on a demand line with potential 1 hour hidden bullish divergence. So now that 1 hour chart's kind of flipping over from bearish into bullish. However, you got some technical damage on the 4 hour, closing back under 1450 and the daily closing under 1450, but you're kind of still just in this middle Bollinger Band area with the triangle. You're still maybe potentially back testing. You're still above the demand line of the triangle. But I would just love this to be a fake out and it gets back above it. But, you know, you have to be open to things changing a little bit and we'll see what happens. And that is FSR. All right. I think a tip is about to pop up in a second here. Jack, thank you for the first tip of the night. €5. First stream I've managed to catch in a hot minute. This is some of my spoils from a 34% Bitcoin swing, all-time high. Lord Bogendoff can't stop me this time. Congrats, Jack. Bitcoin is it's doing very well. I'm very proud of it in the last month. I mean, in general, it's one of the coolest assets in history. I don't know if cool is even a good word to use there. Like, I need a better word than cool. Like, what Bitcoin's done over the past decade, like, it just amazes me. I talk about this all the time. Bitcoin's what got me into trading. So I just love to see Bitcoin do well. And yeah, thank you very much for the 5. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Jack. But that's FSR and CLOV. FSR in general, I'd just love to see it get back above 1450. Hopefully it does, but you never know. I was saying, FSR was my main focus so far this week, and today just really took me by surprise. Like, it looked like it was finally breaking out. Even on the first 4-hour candle for a little bit, I was trying to back test. I was like, all right, break hook and go, and then no, it just kind of sold off even more. So it was only down 2% today, but I was really hoping for a little bit more than that. JG says, oh, how come Scott Carney doesn't mention about Cypher? I don't know exactly the story behind that, but I think I've heard from people in Mitch Ray's community, some other people in our community. I just don't think that Scott Carney's a big fan of ciphers. So I don't know. I've seen some cool ciphers play out. I've seen some ciphers fail, just like all other harmonic patterns. Is there a descending triangle playing out on the weekly chart for CLOV? I don't know if you're, you might just be talking about this. I was thinking like this, but you're not even close to like any sort of supply line. I guess you could call it a descending triangle on the weekly. You have 2 touches on your supply line and pretty much 2 to 3 on the bottom, depending on where you want to just chart your zone. I don't know. I mean, technically, descending triangles are bearish patterns, but of course, when we talk about bearish and bullish patterns, all that bearish and bullish patterns mean is that there's a higher probability of one thing happening over the other. So, for example, on a descending triangle, it's called a bearish pattern because there's a slightly higher probability that this happens instead of this happening. But still, bearish patterns can break to the upside and you can get a bullish breakout. You can get bullish breakouts on bearish patterns, and then vice versa. You can get bearish breakouts on bullish patterns, right? You can get a ascending triangle that breaks to the downside. You can get an inverse head and shoulders that breaks to the downside, right? So yeah, that argument could be made. I'm not going to say it can't be. We'll see which way it breaks. And then just one final thing for CLOV. Again, I just want to reiterate this because I don't want to see my name all over the CLOV Reddit. There's been a couple other people, and again, I've said this all the time on stream. I don't care about what anybody else does with their money. You should never care what I do about my money with my money. I think that's just a very weird thing in a lot of different communities. But again, I said a few minutes ago, I took some profits on CLOV in this area, as I have done, like I did in this area. This was a huge day for me. I took profits, and the way I trade CLOV is I take profits when they make sense to me based on technicals, and I buy back when it makes sense to me based on technicals. Instead of me just holding the whole entire duration of this 75% drop, I've been trading in and out of it, right? And I've been able to make profit here and there, and sometimes lose money trading the highs and trading the lows. So I want to make that clear, but it's like my most traded taker, if that makes sense. So I'm always kind of in it, and I'm never playing puts or shorting. So I'm just kind of always, hopefully that makes sense. I just don't want to go on my phone after the stream and see people complaining. Like, just want to make all that clear. Like, most of the time I'm in it. The only times I'm not in it is when I'm waiting for variables to appear so I can re-enter it. Just want to make all that crystal clear. Wasn't there extensive research that showed it had like an 85% success rate? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. It was pounds, not euros. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit confused by some of the messages in chat right now. For the rest of the ongoing trades, we already talked about Fisker. Vips was flat today. Neo was flat today. EBR was up 3% today. Had a nice bounce up. You did actually confirm hidden bearish divergence on the daily today, but we also talked about the potential back test for PBR last night on stream, and it actually bounced off the back test. So potential at this point. Potential break, hook, and we'll see if we can get a go. But you never know. I think there was also some unusual options activity on PBR today, if I'm not mistaken. Trip unfortunately broke back under that little zone it was trying to break above. So for right now, this looks like an upside fake out, and now you're getting a break down. Your next support would pretty much be the previous supply line, which would get you pretty close to the stop. But again, you never know, maybe it reverses above that. So it's just kind of being weird in this range right here. And then forward, no, it didn't hit the target. Forward was up 4% today. I didn't even know that. Still hasn't hit the third target. Already hit the first two though. That's really it for the ongoing trades. Futures are pulling back a little bit more. Maybe I won't lose money on SPY puts tomorrow. Who knows? That's how I'm looking at this point. Instead of like maybe I'll make profit, I'm thinking maybe I won't lose money. But again, I've not been, my positions for the last few days on puts have been pretty small regardless. But it's not fun waking up every morning and cutting a 20% loss in options, even if it's a small position size. It's just like, come on. When's that 1 hour bearish divergence going to play out? And it's so weird to me because you all know this. Like, I'm so bullish biased 90% of the time. The only times I play puts is when you literally have something like this, right? Like literally multiple variables aligning that are super clearly bearish, and they're still just meh. But again, at the same time, whatever the forces are driving this market, they're very seemingly bullish for right now. Fisker did have a live stream. Really not that much to talk about, I guess. I don't know. It was on YouTube. I don't know if they still have it up on their channel. Yeah, anything else in chat? Yeah, like the video if you didn't like it already. Another thing to talk about, Tesla earnings today. It went down to 8:51 after hours. So pretty much just dropped right there after hours. I didn't look at their numbers. I don't know. It's interesting. You broke an important level. You went right up to the next important level. And pulling back earnings. I don't know. Tesla's really 50-50 to me right here. If it breaks new all-time high, great. If it doesn't, whatever. Support 780. Just wanted to bring that up because that earnings. Just not really easy to do technicals at this point. I mean, you have a gap fill at 843 on Tesla. And then on lower time frames, it'll look different in the morning because of the earnings. So we'll see. Just want to bring that up really quickly. Another one I'm watching, potentially for later in the week, is QS. It's back above this 2451 level, which you could see was resistance on these three highs, resistance on these candles, this candle. It's back above it, and then on the 1 hour, it's showing a little bit of an ascending triangle. So I have an alert set up for QS for tomorrow and Friday. That's another one I'm watching. And anything else I wanted to bring up? I don't know. Medi says, I'm still holding on to my puts. Didn't cut my loss, just made all the money back. Plus way more calls on way more on calls intraday. Yeah, I've done that before. Sorry, I just have something else on my other screen. I've done that before. The only thing that sucks is like when things are just flat, and if you're doing that for multiple days in a row, it's just theta's just eating away both the calls and the puts. So you definitely kind of have to be smart about it. But for me this week with my puts, I mean, I've been in puts for, it feels like it's been like 80 years. Puts just stress me out. Feels like it's been like 8 years. It's been like 2 or 3 days that I've been playing puts. And yeah, I've just, when I get to risk levels, I just call my losses and then I reassess. That's just how I kind of go about it. But to each their own. Yeah, started the stream early tonight. Yes, we'll look at Wish right now, actually. Thank you for reminding me. It's in the title and the thumbnail. So we've been talking about Wish pretty much the whole entire week on stream. It broke out of a wedge, which it did like 10, 12 days ago. And pretty much my analysis on Wish for the last few nights has been, broke out of the wedge, but has to get above 530, 550. It did that, and it even back tested it, which we talked about yesterday. Look at this. Again, just education on break, hook, and goes, right? You have this resistance, right? You break above it, which is your break. Then you have your hook, which is you flip your previous resistance into a support, and then your go. And the go today for Wish was quite good. So we did talk about that last night on stream, the potential for a break, hook, and go, and then you got your confirmation on this candle. Pretty much like the way I look for confirmation on break, hook, and goes, of course, you most of the time want to wait for candle confirmation on your go candle. But if you have really good volume and you break above the breakout candle, that's sometimes when I play break, hook, and goes for intraday. So like for example, on Bitcoin, right? On the daily, let's go over to the daily time frame. So we talked about this earlier in the week as well, right? Bitcoin had a break over here, then it had it hook, and then it had it go. But do you see that on this go candle, the volume was higher than the hook candles? Do you see that? Right, on your breakout candle, you have the highest volume. Then when you're hooking, that sounds really weird, but when you have the pullback, you have two, 1, 2, 3 candles on low volume, and then you have another follow-up candle, which could be your potential go candle. And then once you get increasing volume and you break above the candle bodies of the breakout candle or even the hook candles, that's sometimes when I play them early instead of waiting for the candle close. Another example could be this. It really wasn't perfect, but this was a trade for premium members today. It was 40%. And just for some education here, let me try and find where it was. Can't even remember where it was. All right, I'm in Discord open. Let me see if I could find it. Was this it? No. All right, so this is it. So this was pretty much the idea on RIOT today. It broke above the previous day's high. Okay, broke above it, and you could see it was having a low volume pullback into that previous resistance area. So we just talked about this on Wish and on Bitcoin. It was having a low volume pullback into the previous resistance, and let's see if I can spot where this was on the chart. All right, there we go. I think this was pretty much it. So let me try and line that up again. Okay. So this was pretty much what it was doing. It was having a low volume pullback. You could see as it was pulling back into previous resistance, volume was dropping. It even had a VWAP in there for extra variables or probability. And then what happened? Putting a 4% move off of that, and the options went up 40%. So just some education on break, hook, and goes right there. Or breakout and back tests. And then we didn't really finish talking about Wish in general for Wish right now. Just had a huge day. Low time frames are obviously overbought on the RSI, as you can see on the 1 hour. Actually, it was overbought, then it kind of reset. It looked like it pulled back a little bit into the afternoon. I mean, honestly, going into tomorrow for Wish, this could be a very quick setup. Low time frame bull flag on Wish with hidden bullish divergence. But again, you guys see what the market looks like. If Wish gaps down, then you might break under that demand line. And the other thing is, you're right under a resistance. And look, we talked about this last night as well. The high of the day for Wish was 631, but we also talked about the next resistance for Wish being 624 last night on stream. It pretty much got there, got a little bit higher, and then it pulled back. That was your low from August 20th and like a 4-day resistance at the end of September. And it tested it again today. If it breaks above it tomorrow, the day after, whenever it is, the next level for which is 767. Okay, that's your lows from the end of May and your resistance in August after it gapped down on earnings. Support is that previous resistance zone we just talked about, this 530-ish area. But you could also use Fibonacci from the low to the high, maybe get some supports off of that as well. And look, even for the bull flag, right? So let's put this on the 15-minute chart. I love to play bull flags at 23% retraces. Okay, especially when you're trading something with unusual volume. I just see a lot of nice bull flags, like just tap the 23% retrace, sometimes even get a hammer candle in the area, pretty much like that. But I'm just talking about day trade stuff. Again, this chart can look completely different at the open, depending on the pre-market, and Wish might have a interesting pre-market because of all the volatility today. So again, this chart can completely change by the morning. None of that was financial advice. I'm just trying to give you some education for just situations in general, and I'm using Wish as an example. Okay. Futures a little bit more red, actually, only down 1/5%. It's not that much, but the S&P breaks this little support. You can see it's been trying to hold this 45.19 level, breaks under that next level. I'd say it would probably be around like 40. Whoa, it just broke it. What was that candle? Did you guys just see that? That was interesting. Oh, I'm on the 5-minute. All right, so it really isn't that interesting, but I'd say like 45.17. That's literally like a 1.5 point move, but I'm just looking at levels. So yeah, hit the like button if you didn't already. What else is in the chat? CLOV earnings November 8th. Seeing some stuff about January calls for CLOV in the chat that some people are in. Do you think we should be expecting a large move on RIOT since MARA had a run? Again, you know, they're different companies, they're different stocks. They both don't have to move the same exact amount. I know they've had a lot of correlation this year. I don't know. I would look at it more as like Bitcoin, you know, in general. And of course, different things can happen to either of those companies or any crypto mining stock in general, right? So if you have a crypto mining stock that's, I don't know, they have horrible earnings, it might perform much worse than another crypto mining stock that had a regular earnings while Bitcoin is running. So it's like, you know, you do want to look at them as crypto miners, and of course they have done a pretty good job of tracking Bitcoin throughout the year. But somewhere along the lines, there could be other things that change just for the stocks themselves, for the companies themselves. So I don't know. I mean, on the RIOT trade for premium members today, I was looking at Bitcoin and RIOT side by side during the day, and I was seeing like RIOT was literally just following Bitcoin intraday. But again, there can always be external variables that can change that. In general, I already talked about this on stream, but I mean, if you just look at the percentage moves, MARA has been doing pretty good. It's really pretty much back up to where it was in April. And if we look at RIOT, it's 49% lower than it was in April. So there is underperforming going on for RIOT, yeah. But it still is going up, of course. You know, when Bitcoin hit all-time highs in January, RIOT saw a move to 79 in February. Now Bitcoin's at a new all-time high and RIOT's at 31. So you can see something along the lines change. We talked about this earlier in the week, I think. But yeah, you got to look at each stock as a different stock. Of course, there's sectors, there's correlation, but there's always going to be variables. Yeah, we've been talking about Bitcoin. We could talk about Ethereum as well. I mean, at this point, I don't know. You know, it was in a channel over here. Testing of support, had a little bit of a fake out. Broke out of the channel eventually. Now it's running back up. I like that it broke above 3950. That was the resistance from the beginning of September. Now it's just testing the last resistance area. Same thing as Bitcoin. If it breaks over this area, then you won't have any real resistance on the chart. You just use Fibonacci. And the 1272 for Ethereum is about $5,100. So those are your levels right now. Do we use fibs now? I'm not sure what you mean. Fibs on what? On Ethereum? I'd use fibs after it breaks all-time highs. All right. So I don't know. We could do ticker request for a little bit if you want me to look at a ticker. I'll probably look at like 10 to 15 or something. Drop it in the chat. And don't request anything up over 30% today. Don't request anything that IPO'd within the last month. Don't request any OTCs. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. And hit that like button while you're at it. Yeah, Maxime, I'm gonna take a look at DraftKings in a little bit. They'll be in the timestamps. Spiderwebs, we already looked at QS, will be in the timestamps. It's breaking above an important level. US is breaking above 2451, which is an important level from July, was resistance. And on the 1 hour, there's an ascending triangle. Of course, it could break either way, but it is on my watch list. You want SOL, the stock, or the crypto? I'm gonna put in the crypto for right now. If it's a stock, let me know. I don't know if that's gonna be it for the night, but we'll see. You could chart these trend lines a little bit differently. I honestly think that SHIB actually could be breaking out right now of this triangle. Contradicting variable would be potential 4-hour classic bearish divergence. However, that eventually can get invalidated if the MACD makes its way back above that previous MACD island. That's really it I see. I mean, in terms of levels, these are your levels. I don't even want to say them because there's a lot of zeros. But yeah. KERN. Earnings on the 18th according to TradingView of November. I'd like to see it get back above 304. There was the low from over here and over here. Maybe it's trying to make a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. If you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Join the Discord, the link's in the description. If you ever want to send a tip, Streamlabs is better. They don't take as much of a fee, or they don't take any fee, and YouTube Super Chats does take a fee, like a 30% fee or something. So the Streamlabs tip link is always a pinned chat. Again, only if you want to tip. You don't have to tip, but I'm just saying if you are going to tip, Streamlabs is better. KERN, yeah, it just kind of tested this neckline, rejected it. We'll see. It's a potential inverse head and shoulders for now, not a confirmed one. FUBO, I like the rounding action. 31 is your resistance. Support is 28.75, kind of the same thing as last night. If it breaks that, then your next support is 27.5. Those are your levels. We'll see what happens. It was kind of flat today. We looked at it last night. ENG is in the middle of support and resistance. Support's 174, resistance is 307. That's pretty much what I see. 4-hour hidden bullish divergence though. Yeah, that's what I got. DraftKings, it's at a big level. It's just kind of going sideways right above this 47.54 level. It's been trying to hold as support. It was even support back in August. Has hidden bullish divergence on the daily. I've been eyeing it. It's not a premium trade or an everybody trade for right now, but I did look at it today and I'm keeping a very close eye on it. It's just, I don't know. It's just not a lot of variables. It's just very simple support and divergence. It's not really a clear harmonic that I see, or like any other patterns. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if there could be any more variables. But if I were to play DraftKings, and I'm not playing DraftKings right now, this is not financial advice. I'm just saying from a reward to risk standpoint, this would be how I would line it up. But again, I'm not playing it for right now. I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on it though. It's on my watch list. NKLA, 936 is your support. 1277 is your closest resistance. You're right in between the two of them. Potential bear flag here for NKLA. But also, it's too perfect of a double top to be an actual harmonic, but close to an alternate bat. Not actually one though. And yeah, that's really it. Hopefully they can actually make a vehicle. BBIG, it's in between levels. It had a nice run after breaking out of a wedge on the 4-hour with hidden bullish divergence, just beautiful technicals playing out. And then I think yesterday or something, they had some news about their CEO and CFO or something. And it's gapped down today. Next support is 562. That's really about it. Whoa, that actually kind of startled me a bit. Commando 26V with a $15 tip using the Streamlabs link that we just talked about. Thank you. So yeah, thank you both Jack and Commando for the tips. Commando says, thanks for all the content. Satisfied premium member. These options have been padding my account nicely. Cheers. I'm so glad to hear that. Commando, thank you very much for the support. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Commando. We've been on a really nice run on options. This week was kind of like the first week in a while, in a long time actually. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. But I actually have like the last like 20 trades mapped out. I don't know if that's the right word to use. But yeah, we had a really hot streak. Unfortunately, a few L's this week. But again, it's not really about what happens day to day, week to week. It's what the overall result is. I mean, this is the last 21 trades. Like, that's the sum of percent. Like, it's crazy. I mean, this streak was insane, especially that 6-win streak. But again, it's I talk about this all the time. It's literally on the front page of the weekly sheet. It's not about win rate, right? It doesn't matter. Win rate's not as important as people think, right? 63% win rate's not amazing if somebody's trading 1-to-1 reward to risk trades, right? But if you're trading a 3-to-1 reward to risk time and time again, on those 63% of trades you're winning, you're making 3 times more than you're losing on the losers, right? And I shared this stat with everybody, but over the course of almost a year, my brother kind of summed up everything. If you were to count all the winners and all the losers, right? So just the ones that hit the stops and then just the ones that hit the targets over the course of the past year, it's a roughly 3,000% profits for all the winners that hit targets if you combine all their gains, and then 1,000% losses for all the trades that got stopped out. So again, it averages out over time. That's literally a 3-to-1, 3,000% in wins compared to 1,000% in losses, 3-to-1. So it's just crazy. But yeah, options have been pretty good apart from this week. 3 L's so far, but the RIOT, see, this is what I'm saying. It's about percent, and of course you want your win rate to be as good as possible. But like, for example, 20% L, 20% L, but then on this one trade you get 40%, so that covers all that, right? And then same thing here, you got a 20% there, but lost it there, but that just evens out. And then you have a 200% before that, so technically all of this kind of got evened out despite it being 3 losses and 2 wins. And then you have 200% right before that. Like, that's kind of how I look at things. I just don't think a lot of people look at things like that. Just for newer people in the stream, maybe I was like reiterating that standpoint. Or viewpoint, I don't know. Wait, we already looked at BBIG, IDEX, triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. It's kind of actually finding support around 183. I view it as a descending broadening wedge. Next resistance is like 223-ish. Never really got down to the 1.78 level. I mean, it was kind of lows from here, over here, over here, over here. That's okay. Nice day today. I'd like to see a little bit more volume though. Sundial. Might be quietly breaking out of a wedge. I know Tilray just broke out of a wedge. Next closest resistance is like 73 cents. I mean, you're right. You're already testing this 68 cents resistance. Then after that, you got 73. Then after that, you got 81. Support is 64 cents. That's really it. CPNG double bottomed after breaking out of a downsloping channel with classic bullish divergence. Now it's testing previous support as a resistance. If it breaks above it, next level is 30.56, which was also previous support. And yeah, I don't even think it's made a 23% retrace yet. It's not even made one yet. So and look at that, 23% retrace perfectly lines up with that previous support. So that's kind of like your next level, pretty much $30.63. Activision earnings are in like 2 weeks, but wow. So it's breaking out right now. Activision is breaking out of a supply line right now after hitting the rough PCZ of a bullish bat. Not perfect, but pretty good or close. Actually, let me fix that X point. That makes it a little bit better. But look at that. I mean, also, it's not textbook, but same psychology as classic bullish divergence on the daily. The only thing that messes that up is this one little red island over here. But yeah, this is an edge. Above $74, I like Activision. Next resistance is 82.56. I'll keep this on my watch list. SOLUSD, not a lot of data on the Coinbase exchange, but I like it above 171. Again, I don't know anything about this asset, I'm just talking about the chart. 171, it was a low roughly over here, high roughly over here, high roughly over here. Broke it on this candle, now you're seeing fall through price action. Next resistance I see is right under $200. It is right in between support and resistance, so keep that in mind, but you did get a daily MACD crossover. Volume's really low though, but it is making a higher low. So I mean, even if you look at it kind of like this, right? Kind of broke out of a triangle. Look at it broke out on this candle, then it spent like 4 candles back testing it. So break, hook, and now it's kind of your go. But it's already happening, right? FDX failed bat. Actually, no, it's too deep to be an alternate bat. I don't know. It's just under a lot of resistance now that it gapped down on earnings. Of course, it could not have a nice rally to fill that gap. It's just kind of, you know, once something has a large gap down, I kind of disregard all the price action before it and just focus on the price action after the gap and just don't have a lot of data yet. So I'm personally, I can see it going either way. I just want to see more data. Whoa. Scrooge with a $30 tip says, could I get some vibes in the chat for champ? Vibes in the chat. Scrooge, thank you for yet another tip. Whoa. Thank you so much for the $30. Hope you're doing well, Scrooge. I know I just messaged you not too long ago, but yeah, always hope you're doing well. Thank you for all the support for the past many months. Yeah, you're the best, Scrooge. Vibes in the chat right now for the $30 tip. Let's go. Jack says, where do you find the time to chart this much with college? Has me killed my trading activity, says Jack. No, you said, where do you find the time to chart this much with college? Oh, okay. A comma there would have helped a little bit. He says, where do you find the time to chart this much with college? And then I didn't insert a comma, and then you said, university has killed my trading activity. My schedule is not too bad. I only have 4 different times I need to be in class on campus. So yeah, it's not that bad. I don't know what it says my stream is lagging. I don't know, but it's a lot of homework. That's the thing. But I just do that when the market's closed and I'm not streaming. I pretty much do all my homework over the weekend because my weekdays are pretty much all trading, and then streaming, and then relaxing for an hour or two. And yeah, a lot of vibes in the chat right now. I love to see it. Futures about the same. Yeah, any questions in the chat? I'm pretty much done with take requests for the night. Sorry for anybody who missed out, but there's always going to be a next stream. And there's always a Discord in the description where you can ask around in there. But yeah, I think that's a good way to end the stream. A lot of vibes in the chat. And most likely I'll be live tomorrow night. If I am live tomorrow night, which again, most likely I will be, it'll probably be around like 9:30. Sorry for like the little bit of a weird stream schedule this week, just a little bit all over the place. But really appreciate all the support. Thank you, Scrooge, Commando, and Jack for the tips tonight. Hope you're all doing well. Everybody who hit the like button, thank you. New subscribers, I hope you enjoy the stream. And if you're not in the Discord, then you're just going to keep on missing out. The link's in the description. So appreciate all the support. Description. If you haven't looked at it, all my disclaimers are there. If you want to sign up for premium, that's there. If you ever want to get merchandise like this FTM mug, that's there. If you want to join the free Discord, that's there. I think I talked about the course already. That's there. Everything's in the description. Go check it out if you haven't. Have a good one, everybody, and peace out.